We finally have the flexibility we haven't had in years. And team, shut the fuck up. Like
no, like it's like no, I'm not gonna let you do this.
Charlotte, I'm not gonna let you Baltimore and Oakland and Golden State.
I'm not gonna let you do this. You just fucking talked about Green Bay being cold and not a fucking destination. Nobody wants to fucking go to DC. Even though I talk to Steven, hey, I like DC, but nobody.
You know what we got in DC? Fucking the internet connection, you cocksuck.
Cool. No dance. Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports.
All sorts of sports.
All sorts of sports.
Sports. And your dick hole.
Ugh. Sports up your
This
ass.
is why people click off the fucking video. Okay.
Motherfucker, the only reason people watch this video is because of me. Yeah, who does the editing? Have you learned yet, James?
Hey, turn that down.
No.
I'm in the middle of a move. So suck my dick. All right. So,
we can tell your closet is empty. It's nothing but you and your homosexual rage just trapped in an empty closet.
I feel like I'm the only one married here.
What a metaphor.
I was married and I opted out.
He didn't like that contract. He opted out.
I've already been that.
All right, you know what? Speaking of contracts, let's just get right into it.
All
Why
right.
do you have one jersey behind you? Does it hold significance, or is that your wares for today?
How many? It's episode 78.
Yep.
I've had this autographed jersey behind me this whole time.
I like it.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. All I remember is your cum rags that you have behind you.
You're wasting too much fucking time. You're wasting too much time. See, Keem, this is one. Yeah. All right. So, the biggest news in the NFL this week was the fact that Aaron Rodgers reported to camp. Now, this has been a discussion, especially on this pod. We had hours upon hours upon hours of discussions in regards to Aaron Rodgers this past offseason. He showed up, and essentially what this looks like is like a last dance like type of situation. The same thing that happened with Jordan and the Bulls. Aaron brought in Randall Cobb. They traded for him at Aaron's request, really.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the interview that he did, the press conference, really, that he did when he came back to camp?
It begun with the airing of grievances.
Mm-hmm. Well, no.
I didn't watch the entire thing. I watched a good portion of it, though. And I thought, like, somebody tweeted this, but he was super candid, honest, and, like, you don't see a lot of athletes do that. And I appreciated it. It was just like, oh, well, you just wanted, a little input, like a bunch of, there was a story that came out like a few days ago that Kyler Murray, has input with Cardinals. He's in his fucking third season. And it's like Aaron Rodgers, like one of the GOATs, doesn't have input in what the Packers do. Like, come on, fam. Like he wanted some say, and like I think he deserved it. Like, hey man, like I think he was acting rationally. I think the moves that he made sense. I like how it's set up now for him to potentially leave. If Green Bay decides to go in a different direction, it's kind of a redo of what they did with Brett Favre. I hope that if Aaron does decide to go somewhere else, he has much more success than Brett did. I hope he wins the Super Bowl somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it probably been the most vocal here on the pod about Aaron. Look, I remember I went hard in the paint on Aaron really, really early. And I remember kind of saying that what it is that we were seeing sounded more like to me that it was a contract thing. It was not only the respect aspect of stuff, but what he wanted contract-wise, which is either the guarantee that I am going to be your guy for a few years, or give me the freedom I need to go wherever it is I need to go. And they've been able to compromise and get to exactly where it is you need to be. Because right now, it wouldn't be in Aaron's best interest to get traded anywhere to try to go learn a new playbook this late on to get anything done, compared to staying right here, put yourself in the best possible position. Because Green Bay, I mean, they're going to be in the Super Bowl hunt. We all know this with this team and with Aaron Rodgers behind center. I think, to me, listening to the press conference, while it was kind of a breath of fresh air to hear somebody be as honest as he was, I don't necessarily think he looked great in that press conference, because I think the things that he was fighting for when they came to input are actually all things that I think, for the most part, the Green Bay Packers organization did a good job on doing. A lot of the guys that they were saying that Aaron said he wanted to keep around, most of those dudes, once they left Green Bay, went on to do jack shit. Randall Cobb.
Like, keep them here for me because I make them.
But here's the thing: is it you make or break? Randall Cobb hasn't had a full healthy season since Green Bay, and even the last few years that he was in Green Bay, as a dude who always drafts him on his fantasy team, he was not that healthy then either. And you have a Green Bay Packers organization that has done what we always say the best organizations do. Like when you have New England, you reach a certain point where you're not paying for what it is you've done for me. You pay for what it is you're going to do for me right now, or potential, but you're not going to overpay for anybody's inflated numbers because of Aaron. Like, I understand what the Packers organization is doing, but I also understand what Aaron is saying is like, look, I've been the guy. It's the same thing I thought about Brett Favre. You have a dude who's the linchpin for your organization. You don't exist as an organization without this guy, because nobody gives a shit about Green Bay. It's Green Bay fucking Wisconsin. Nobody cares. So you have you have a guy who makes your engine go. You need to satiate him at least to some degree, even if it's just to listen to him out and give feedback to him that, hey, Aaron, I understand where you're coming from. We just don't agree with it. He wants to feel heard. That's something you can see. That front office has been so goddamn bullheaded, and I don't think Aaron's made anything better. You've got two sides that's just been bucking up against each other and not communicating the way they should.
At this point, like, look at what's going on with Devontae Adams and tell me, like, that everything Aaron said doesn't have credence.
Green Bay.
Devontae Adams said, hey, I am playing at this level. I should be the highest paid receiver in the league. And he has a right to feel that way. Then you have, what's his name? What's the dude's name? The head office dude that everybody has an issue with?
Brian?
Yeah.
Gutekunst, whatever.
Brian Gutekunst.
Yeah. So he comes out and responds, it's like, yeah, the way Devontae views like being the highest paid and the way we view it differently. Like, you don't negotiate with a player of that caliber, like, in the public.
You don't. That's true. You don't.
And Devontae straight up said, like, I mean, shit, there's nothing else to talk about at this point. Like, so you're about to lose your best or the best receiver in the league for nothing next year. He's not
arguable. He's top 3.
All right, but you know what I'm saying? Like, especially for his age and everything.
Yeah.
Like, so you're about to lose him in free agency. You're about to lose Aaron. What the fuck do you have now?
No, I'd agree with you as far as Brian being as public as he was about that. It felt weird, but I don't also know that everything that's happening in Green Bay right now, as far as the way people are using the media, players, the front office, everything, is we're kind of in uncharted territory. Because, like, even Aaron's press conference, what is everybody saying? We've never seen that before. Even the way Devontae has been talking about the shit, I haven't really seen anybody talk about the shit as open as he has been. Like, there is, like, the fact that Devontae's basically let everybody knows, not having to go through sources, what Devontae feels about the situation. And to me, we felt that even before Brian said anything. I think Brian is, once again, because this front office is just a bunch of fucking, like, just testosterone-driven alpha males that just do things in this way where they don't communicate properly.
Like, I feel like it's that guy. It's not everybody. Because, like, you remember, Green Bay's not owned by, like, a certain person.
Before it was Brian, it was Ted Thompson. And you could run a lot of parallels between what happened at the end of the Brett Favre era to a lot of the shit that's happening with the front office right now. It's a Green Bay thing, and I don't know why.
In terms of Brett Favre's, like, final years in Green Bay, what was he doing?
What do you mean?
Like, did he win the MVP? Like, I don't remember. I just remember him going to Minnesota.
His last full season was a great one.
He was still good.
It was a really good season.
Yeah, I mean, he went to Minnesota and then was it first year took them to the playoffs? Like,
yeah, they rode AP.
He went to New York first. He went to the Jets first, and the Jets, like you could still see that he had
Didn't
some left in the tank.
Didn't he win one season with the Jets? Then had a bad losing season. Then went to Minnesota.
I think so. I think
wait,
that time. I think it was 1 year in New York.
Yeah, because he pulled out didn't he send dick pics?
It was the dick pic thing.
Yeah.
But let me say this. Let me add this one other part. I agree like wholeheartedly with what Aaron said in regards to the way they treated players when they were on the way out.
I'm sure that's true. My only issue with Aaron is that it seems like this has been going on for like a decade.
Hmm?
And he's probably been upset. Like we know, heard stories about who he is in the locker room, etc. I feel like this airing of grievances is about, I don't know, 8 years late. But hopefully moving forward for them, at least the players will feel more comfortable being open about talking about that stuff. Because if that's the culture there, I mean, we've seen what happens. You have, all-time greats being pissed off at the organization when, they should be heralded and, go out on a red carpet. But it's cold there. I don't know what to tell you. I wouldn't want to go outside and talk to people either if it's -40. So
it's a football thing.
Maybe there's something to be said for that. Too much cheese clogs the brain.
But yeah, I really like the interview. Like just for themselves.
That's why they're all angry all the time. They're all just sitting on toilets. God damn.
Aaron, I think what Aaron's going to realize, what most NFL players, quarterbacks, anybody realize is that they don't make good GMs. Number one. And I think that what Green Bay has been too bullheaded where there are some ways in which you can satiate your player. New England did it a lot with Tom Brady. Hey, you want to try to experiment with this guy that you really want here? Let's bring him in. And
according to Tom.
Look, Tom right now, Tampa Tom is a different beast.
Tampa Tom said they were
he's out here playing golf and shit.
Look, I love Tampa Tom, but I'm a huge Tom Brady guy. But I will say this. In New England, they had the recipe. Because regardless of whatever it is you felt, Tom did stay there for damn near 20 years. And they won and had a lot of success. There's a certain level of which you can do to keep your guy happy and still realize that we're not going to destroy or ruin the team in the same process. Because look, when Aaron went through that list of guys, yeah, he's right. The way the NFL treats a lot of these players, a lot of these veterans, you washed up, just fucking go, is wrong. And if that's the battle that he wants to fight, I understand it. But that's the way of the business. If you're the Green Bay Packers organization and it's like, hey, we're not going to keep all these guys, but if he wants Randall Cobb around for a little bit, all right, fucking throw him a bone, right? Like there's a certain element that you can do with that.
Why did it take so long for that to happen, though?
Because I think that Aaron has been the same way that this front office is, which is bullheaded and don't communicate properly. I think
I think it's not necessarily Aaron's been bullheaded. I think he hasn't really taken the reins.
Yeah, and I feel like
he hasn't been demanding I want this for whatever.
It could have been like that behind the closed doors, but not in public.
He wasn't like that.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers just let it fester instead of dealing with it directly.
That to me is the bullheadedness. Bullheadedness to me is not just rah, make things my way and you're not seeing my way. Bullheadedness is being so caught up in your own head that you're lacking the communication skills to properly communicate anything. Which is what Aaron to me is a guy who sits with his shit. And you can probably see it in passive aggressiveness. You can probably see it in he probably shakes his head. I'm like, God damn it, this fucking place. Doing shit like that, which is why then you have the GM will call him and say, hey, we're hiring Matt LaFleur. Don't make any waves. Which is an asshole thing to say. But you also know Aaron can absolutely be the guy who's rolling his eyes the entire
yeah.
Can't see that. I can totally
you can fix that by having him in the room when you're making the decision.
But I think. And
give him input.
But if he hasn't said anything
agree.
for 10 years, why would you change what
No,
you're
you have-
doing?
He has said shit. Okay.
It's that to me is the Jedi mind trick of being a good GM. You have to be able to satiate these quarterbacks. They have an ego and they want to have say. They should. I mean, the way we treat them, they're basically the general manager on the fucking team, like, or at least a
I think it should not just
supervisor.
be
if
the
we're looking at
quarterback.
management
I think it should be the top 3 players on your team.
Maybe I mean that's the thing is maybe you look in the NFLPA says, look, if you give anyone on the team a captain's designation, then they have a brain trust and you could do this. I don't know. I'm just saying that like if players want more input on what's happening, we can work that out because there's been the way the league has worked for a very long time. But I also know that when it comes to players, the connection they have to other players allows for bias to seep in, which will not always allow the best product that needs to be on the field. There's a balance.
Yeah, well, like we're not saying like, yeah, the player should pick everybody that comes to the team, but should be like, all right, you guys are thinking this player. Here's how I feel about it. Like, and then Aaron brought up a good point where the Packers cut their second best wide receiver like last year in Aaron's eyes.
The preseason guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy, he was the second best player in training camp.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I also know
like,
where is this guy playing now?
But listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
like, you find people on the street all the time that do well in certain situations.
Exactly. So, and they are a star somewhere else.
Right.
Like,
so it's like if this guy's a star here, like why would you cut him like when I'm throwing him the ball without talking to me? Like he's fucking Aaron Rodgers at that point too.
There's a balance that has to exist because Aaron's asking for something that no quarterback has ever had.
What?
I mean, that's the thing is like there's a difference between saying I just want to be heard compared to make these personal decisions, make these personnel decisions. Like it's
and that's not what he said though. He just said he wanted a little input.
Right. He's like, look, you guys cut the second best receiver in training camp. Like you should have just talked to me. Maybe I could change your mind.
But here's the thing is what's the difference between feeling heard and listening to the input? Because he also said that he said some things or he's tried to say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it just they don't pay attention to him. So it's like if he has a grievance, if he's like, hey, I'd like you guys to keep this guy, and they say, all right, we hear you, Aaron. Like, is it just the conversation of
he's been their quarterback for 17 years. If he's been giving them input and they've never done anything that he's been giving them input to, do you feel like you're being listened to?
Nope.
No, and that's where and I get you. And this is why I'm saying that there's a balance between you have to satiate a guy's ego, you have to let him feel as though he has an integral part of it, but you also got to keep the organization running. And I think that there's a balance.
Fair, but that has not happened.
I agree. It has not happened at all.
And that's the only issue. That's the only thing he brought up. And he made sure to say, like, hey, I'm not a victim here. I've been paid a lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that like where it's lining up. I feel happy for where Aaron is right now. David Bakhtiari is really happy, which makes me happy. And outside of that,
I like the card he gave Aaron too. That was funny.
That was dope. And Aaron, look, Washington, we love you, buddy, and we can't wait for you to see you in Burgundy and Gold.
It's just gonna be a rotating chorus of like almost retired quarterbacks. Fitzy, then Rodgers.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's on a 1-year deal. We're gonna have either the 1 or 2 best defense in the league. Aaron, what did they not give you in Green Bay? A defense? What do we have?
Except for that 1 year.
And here's another thing, Aaron. You know, Devontae Adams, he's having an issue as far as his contract. Guess who's got the 4th most cap space in the league, Aaron? He gets you out, buddy. Well, I'm saying the grass is greener.
Devontae is going out to Las Vegas.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to another QB. Let's move on to another QB. Deshaun Watson.
Going to Oakland to run slants.
Deshaun Watson's back at camp. I'll see you week 1. Deshaun Watson is back.
Okay.
Okay. I'm calling right now. Ryan Fitzpatrick has a Pro Bowl season this year, and Aaron Rodgers is the next Washington quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to Las Vegas. Derek Carr somewhere else.
I can see it.
You can see Ryan Fitzpatrick having a Pro Bowl year. Are you out your fucking mind?
Cusp.
Oh no, not that part.
Deshaun Watson's at camp. I'm assuming, like he's just there so he doesn't get fined.
I'm just here because I'm race. Exactly.
Yeah. How do you see this ending up?
Oh, he's out of Houston. I don't know where he's going, but I don't think there's anybody in America who's like, you know what? I really think Deshaun's going to stay in Houston this year. He's done. Houston's done with him. He's done with Houston.
Yeah. I think there's enough bad blood there to where it's over.
I kind of feel like
it's a
it
weird
might be
situation.
Deshaun Watson's camp saying that other teams are interested.
It's just weird to see him even out there with the case going on, and like he still has the case, and then there's the weird Houston relationship. So he took off his QB jersey when he was like there, which is like that's significant.
He's playing safety.
Yeah, like that's significant to me. So I mean, he won't be there.
He's looking for some safety. That's all.
Oh wow! All right, that was
He won't be in Houston, but I don't think anyone on the face of the earth knows how this is going to end.
Yeah.
You know how it's going to end? He's going to get traded to the Washington football team. All right.
No, I will say that.
Now,
I don't know if you noticed when you first did the topic, I kind of looked off in the distance for a second because I legit had a flash.
I know.
And I was like, Washington's going to trade for him, aren't they?
Yeah. All right.
We're going to trade like not our 9 quarterbacks that we have on the roster.
I was like, I just jinxed the Aaron Rodgers thing, which I'm going to have Deshaun Watson, and then he's going to be in prison, and then it's going to be a bitch.
Yep.
He's going to go like 5-0, and then week 6, they're going to arrest him, and we're going to have like fucking Heineke have to come in again.
We?
The Washington football team. Sorry.
Okay.
It takes a while.
Heineke
Here now.
Heineke's been getting first team reps. Apparently, like I'm calling it right now. Preseason MVP, Taylor Heineke. Motherfuckers be throwing
You just
400
said
yards
Ryan
again.
Fitzpatrick was going to have a
I said preseason MVP is Taylor Heineke.
One of these
The world does not revolve around you.
Yeah,
All right. So moving on to Ron Rivera. Like we were talking about the Washington football team.
Yeah, world doesn't revolve.
There was an issue in regards to Ron Rivera and how the Washington football team isn't being vaccinated.
What?
Yeah. Now, Ron Rivera put out a statement saying how he was disappointed in the fact that his team is not vaccinated. And then TJ Ward responded saying some of the most ignorant, stupid shit like even a Broncos player could say. So I'm going to give Kate out the floor. I know you have some shit you want to get off your chest, so go ahead.
Last week I edited this podcast and I had to actually take down the audio a few notches because of how much I was screaming into the mic. So I'm going to try not to.
And also just proximity. You just kept getting closer to it.
Yeah, I realized. That's why the volume is at like 50%, like the entire segment. So Ron, I understand your frustration, especially on this team. And where it is that the team needs to be vaccinated. I know that I've said here on the pod that Washington, at the beginning of July, there was a report that came out that less than 50% of the team was vaccinated, which was the worst in the NFL. I can now say that number has increased, not necessarily at the same speed that we want, but there's not anywhere near as low vaccination numbers on the team, which gives me some hope. What doesn't give me hope is when like Chase Young is asked about his vaccine status and he's saying, hey, that's a personal thing. I'd rather you guys not ask me about that, which just feels as though he's not vaccinated, which, okay. TJ Ward, you saying that basically Ron Rivera needs to quit because of his lifestyle choices that led him to have cancer. And now you... I can't even get it out. Now, I will say this. TJ Ward caught me on a weird week. I don't even know if I should say this on the pod. I'm not going to say this on the pod. But somebody close to me just got a diagnosis of cancer last week, and it's to hear that and to see TJ Ward's thing put me in a place of absolute blind rage, which is I wanted to find this dude and punch him until he stopped. No. TJ, you are an ignorant son of a bitch, and your half apology, which made things worse, just aggravated me even more. I hate willfully ignorant people that think that they're smarter than everyone else. You're not. And nothing that you were saying or bringing to the table was anything but stupidity. Like to not understand the vaccine, to not understand corona, to not understanding cancer, to not understanding any of these things. When you just show us you just don't know any of these things, and to be so confident in the way that you're spewing this bullshit, to me is just a microcosm of a lot of what's wrong with this fucking country. I know later on the list we'll get into Cole Beasley because there's a whole other chamber I got for this cocksucker. Like I right now we are in a place where I don't know how it is we get beyond this. The Delta variant is running amok, and there are a lot of unvaccinated people that are in the hospitals dying. And I've said here on the pod that I don't necessarily blame a lot of people that have anxiety behind getting the vaccine, but I do see that there's a crop of willfully ignorant people, and they are so hell-bent on what it is that they think, even though it's not grounded in anything. And I will say that I hope they either learn or, and this is not hyperbole, I hope they get sick and die. Because I'm over this. I can't live in a society in which you have a crop and a percentage of these assholes that are bringing the rest of us down. And now we have to kowtow to their stupidity, and there's no way in which we can reach out and bring them in because they're too bullheaded and egotistical to let anything get in. So if you're anti-vax, if you're telling people that have cancer that they deserve to have it or it's because of their lifestyle choices, fuck off and die.
I mean, my position is if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. But don't go out there and spew ignorance that may sway somebody else just because you don't want to get it. I'm totally fine. It's free country. But I think people who have that sort of, position of where their voice has meaning to other people, if you are spreading misinformation, I no longer am on your side saying, yes, you don't have to get vaccinated. I'm on the side of, well, yes, that's a personal choice, but now you're influencing somebody else for making what could be, a life-changing choice for them or for their family. So just do what you want to do, but then, just go sit in the closet and don't say nothing.
So we don't. I'm sitting in the closet.
Are you drinking milk out of a ramen container?
It's horchata.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
We don't. I'm not wishing death on anybody.
Something?
I'm not wishing death on anybody, but they're like loud and wrong. Like Cole Beasley, TJ Ward are all just loud and wrong.
I said what I said. Fuck off and die.
I don't wish death on anybody. I agree with certain points of both what K-Dot said and with what Ryan said. I'll just leave it as simple as this. Last week we talked about how, hey, you don't have to play in the NFL if you don't want to play in the NFL. As far as them requiring if they, 90% of the team to be most likely 90% of the team needs to be vaccinated. And so I feel the same way. Hey, I feel bad for Ron. He shouldn't have to be in this situation. And if the players are putting him in danger, he doesn't have to coach.
Yep. So moving on to the other person discussed. Who in this topic, Ryan's mans and possibly future.
Don't you fucking dare make him Ryan's mans.
Because I'm predicting that he's going to get traded or cut and go to the Washington football team, be with his peoples. Cole Beasley. He put out a statement. Well, he read a statement at the press conference discussing his reasons of why he's not getting vaccinated. He started off by saying, I'm not anti-vax, I'm pro-choice.
He's got heavy balls.
Yeah. Put out a rap, quote unquote, freestyle, which at this point, I hope everybody understands, like, a freestyle is not what it used to mean. Nothing's coming off the top of the head anymore. It's written down on your phone or it's written, really. I sent you guys a video of Cole Beasley's freestyle from 2018 when he put out a rap album, which is funny. And then if you look at the comments, everybody's like, oh man, I love this guy. Like, I can't believe it. Cause wasn't that great, but whatever. K-Dot, go ahead and put the other clip in the chamber you got for Cole Beasley.
Cole, you have you're so hungry for attention that you've become the poster boy to the anti-vax movement. You also appropriated hip hop bullshit, and I have nothing really for you other than the fuck off and die. But outside of that, I just I really wish people would just stop being such assholes, stop being so goddamn selfish, and realize the fallacy of the argument that you're taking away my freedom if you're telling me I should get vaxxed. Like, it ain't about you. It's about other people. It's the same reason that when you get pulled over for drunk driving, you ain't saying, "Hey, that's my fucking right," or you don't, like, it's just dumb. Like, it's literally, it's just stupid. It ain't about you. It's about everybody else and trying to make sure that we're doing what we can for our neighbor. And if you can't see that, you're lost. And if you're that lost and you don't give a shit about anybody else but you, fuck off and die.
Yeah, my position on Cole Beasley has not changed. If you're going to be that much of a detriment to yourself and to those around you, football's a team sport. Don't watch it. Go elsewhere. Go be a farmer or whatever the fuck you want to do. Just get the fuck off my team.
There was the Patriots O-line coach or co-offensive line coach that got let go for not getting vaccinated recently as well.
And I think Minnesota got rid of somebody.
Yeah.
And then,
coach.
but they didn't actually get rid of him. What they did was they couldn't have a front line or a head coach for any position not be vaxxed, so they put him in like an office role to like oversee the position. So
and then something happened with the Raiders this week where Jalen Richard and Theo Riddick were out because I believe Jalen tested positive for COVID, but then Theo was a close contact. Theo was just put on the reserved retired list, and I'm not sure that Jalen Richard is going to make the team at this point. It was tough to see it just based on the moves we made in the offseason already, even though he's a fan favorite. Last week I came in and said that Jalen was like, his tweets about like, yeah, we're playing in jail, just go play and go home. And it's like, you just got to do what you got to do. People took that as him saying like he's not getting vaccinated, all this other stuff. I don't know anything in regards to it. I just wish him a speedy recovery. But yeah, Kim, you want to say something about Cole?
I try my best to not give my energy to what I consider stupidity and also appropriation. So I didn't watch the video, and I don't care what Cole has to say. I have no interest in it. I don't pay attention to it. He doesn't make me any money. He doesn't make me move. He's not on my favorite team. I don't give a fuck about Cole Beasley. That's all I got for you.
I love it.
I'm gonna add one last thing as far as a COVID perspective. Right now, there's a report that just came out that even if you're vaccinated, you can still spread this virus, and that is a thing. I will say that the idea of the vaccine has never been to be a cure-all. The vaccine is supposed to be another tool in the arsenal to get us past and through this. So right now, I know that I'm about to, after I wrap this up later on, I'm going down to DC, which has just implemented a mask mandate again. Everybody, wear your mask. And right now, if you can avoid being in public settings, indoors, around a lot of people, please do so. We're not out of this yet. The thought or the hope was that by this time, there'd be enough people that did get vaccinated where we wouldn't have to have the numbers of deaths that we're having right now. It didn't happen. It didn't come to fruition. So the virus is still very, very much prevalent. And right now, because the virus is so prevalent in spreading, it's evolving. And like the Delta variant is just what could be the first in a very long line of other variants that we're getting into COVID. We need to do what we can to eradicate this thing as soon as possible. Wear your mask, stay inside as best as you can. Don't go out and do all the partying shit, even if you are vaccinated. Even if you're vaccinated, it is not 100%. All we want to do is stack the odds in our favor. It's not 100%. There are still people that are vaccinated that will catch COVID and will die. That's a fact. we need to do what we can as a society to start bringing this shit down so we can go back to normal.
Yeah, and then we got Lollapalooza going on. That is
110,000 people per day.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's gonna get ugly. All right. You know what else is getting ugly?
America's the ghetto. Go ahead.
Wait, who did that song? It's getting ugly.
I don't know, but Xavien Howard's situation with the Dolphins is getting pretty ugly. He is one of the top 5-6 corners in the league, and he had an issue because currently he is not the highest paid corner on his own team. And he said that him and his agent went with the Dolphins to try to fix it and even make it like team friendly in terms of like cap space and all the other stuff.
He even asked for just like more guaranteed money on within his current contract, because he was like, which is a point that I would make, is he signed the contract. You signed the fucking contract that you agreed to. That's your fault. You didn't know who you was gonna be. You didn't bet on yourself. So he was like, hey, just give me more guaranteed money, and when it's time to renegotiate, in good faith, we move forward, and I'll be higher paid. But they wouldn't even. Apparently, the Dolphins were not having any of that.
Yeah. And what?
They got an elite corner for he's still top 5, right? In terms
He's
of
top 5.
I mean, in terms of
pay,
in terms of his salary.
Not because he's the second highest paid corner on his own team. So it can't be.
I think he's. I don't even think he's in top 10, but I'll check real quick.
I mean, this is the thing that it always gets me, is he sat down with his agent and the Dolphins, and they came to an agreement that said, this is what we think your services are worth. And he and his agent were like, okay, this is what we think my services are worth. And they came to an agreement and he signed it. And then he balled out. You will probably get paid. It's just not going to be this year. And I don't know that moving him to a different team is necessarily going to change that.
What do you mean? If he moves to a different team, he's going to get a new contract.
Actually, I'm wrong. Just one quick interjection. He is the 6th highest paid cornerback in the NFL. Byron Jones is 5th, who's his teammate.
Okay.
His current salary, Xavien Howard, is $15.1 million. Byron Jones is $16.5 million. And this article is from January of this year though. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Do you also know that when he signed the contract, what it made him? When he initially signed the contract, he was the highest paid corner in the league. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I like his honesty. If we're doing it, I guess everybody's just want to be super honest in the NFL right now, right? It doesn't matter how stupid they sound or whatever. I'm not saying Xavien sounds stupid. I'm more talking about Cole Beasley. Everybody just wants to speak their truth. So I don't know. It was kind of cool to see, even though if I'm looking at that, you signed up, you knew what the contract was. You were the highest paid cornerback in the league when you first signed it, but you also put yourself in a position of knowing, because of the way the NFL works and the way the salaries have been going, you're not going to be the highest paid cornerback very, very quickly. And when Jalen Ramsey went on the move and got paid, $20+ million a year, I think, it changes things. It makes you feel a little bit different. And when Byron Jones, they had to pay Byron whatever it is he had to pay, because once again, when you're signing these guys every year, it fucking changes. Which is why when you look at Kansas City with the Patrick Mahomes deal, which has writers and things in there which kind of change it over time, so the Patrick doesn't feel as though he's getting completely fucked, but also you have the organization saying, at least we know we can plan for his salary going forward. That to me was, all right, great job dealing and working on that contract. Even when I'm giving the Washington football team credit for as far as the re-signing of Jonathan Allen, the reason it's such a good re-sign is that we now have him locked in. He's 4th as far as the highest defensive tackle, but we also know a lot of those defensive tackles in the top 7 are about to get paid soon. And when they get paid, Jonathan Allen's not going to be that guy, but at least we have him locked in at a good rate that we're not going to have to overpay for as time goes on. It's the way contracts work. You can either team, like you said, bet on yourself.
Which
Or-
apparently he did. He was the highest paid corner.
He did. And so like Ryan said, I mean, like, I don't know, like, fam, you made your contract, like, bro, just play out the contract. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I get both sides, but I'm kind of with Miami on this.
I mean, it's to me, it seems almost ridiculous that just because of the timing that your contract came up, that you became the highest paid. Of course, someone else is going to be getting paid more if their contract comes up a year after you. But you're still, I mean, by the time he resigns and he's got 3 more years left on his deal, I think he will have
highest paid.
He will reap the benefits of waiting those 3 years because somebody else is going to get paid 24 or 26. And if he's still playing at an elite level, he's going to be looking at $30 million a year.
If he could make it to where it would be guaranteed and it's like a roster bonus or some shit, and it's able to bring the cap down on the team, I don't see why the Dolphins wouldn't do it.
Maybe they're cash poor. I don't know.
But there's a lot to consider with that because, maybe it's one of those things that pushes deals down the road, like that hurts their cap long term. So that's always sketchy. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know you want your money now. To be fair, I understand. You never know before you get injured. Like I'm sure those concerns are a thing.
And then if he gets injured, they could just cut his ass.
Yeah, I'm sure those concerns are a thing. So, like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, fam, you're 6th highest paid. Like, this is a conversation about ego. Like, that's all. This is just ego.
And then you got to have an ego to play at that level. So
you do.
Fair.
You do.
All right.
So.
Let's discuss Mauricio's old friend. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about, huh?
No idea.
I'm talking about Carson Wentz.
Oh, that guy.
So he just went from the Eagles to the Colts, and what was it is this OTAs now? During team practices earlier this week,
training camp.
He injured his foot or his ankle or his leg, and he's going to be out indefinitely. Now, there's other reports that are saying that the Colts are hopeful that he plays again this year, which makes it seem really, really bad.
Yeah. I heard the reports that he heard a pop.
Oh, damn.
And so, like, I don't know. I saw some doctor who was, like, on Twitter just talking about, like, if it's like a Liz Frank, was it a Liz Frank?
Liz Frank? Yeah.
I think it might be a Liz Frank injury, and that he would probably be out for the season. Probably. But again, it's no confirmation whatsoever. I just all I have to say is I feel bad for all the brittle boys out here that play professional sports.
Yeah, he is a walking
shout out to 80
injury at this point.
Yeah.
And his throwing motion was absolute trash last year, and that had nothing to do with how awful that offensive line was. He was getting no help, but he wasn't helping himself. And the move to the Colts looked like the best place for him to go to revamp his throw. They have a good offensive line, or good-ish. He's got some weapons to throw to, but he can't. If he can't stay healthy, which seems that's what threw off his throwing motion in the first place, was he got injured and he had to revamp how he threw.
Check that diet, man.
Yeah, he needs to eat some potatoes. That's what we've come to the conclusion. He needs more potatoes.
Yep.
So I'm not a doctor, but Carson, if you listen to this, just some starches, some healthy fats,
some sofrito and potatoes, some mofongo.
All right. So
mofongo.
if you decide to give like Carson Wentz potatoes to help with his diet, what would you say would help Michael Thomas?
Mofongo.
Yep.
The fuck is that?
It's Dominican.
It's a Dominican food. It's what Big Papi ate all the time.
Big lunch.
Yeah. And he got shot. He got shot. He was on ESPN like 2 weeks later. That's what you need.
But the situation with Michael Thomas is a weird one because you can see somewhat similarities between what happened with Michael Thomas and Sean Payton and the Saints to what happened with Scottie Pippen and the Bulls.
Is this the surgery like right before the season?
Yeah, because when this first happened, people were like, well, what happened with the original surgery? Like, sometimes when you have surgery, you rehab it, and then you come to find out like, hey, like there's the parts of the surgery that didn't go as well as we would hope. So you just got to do it again and clean up some more shit. But when Sean Payton did his interview, he made it seem as though the surgery was supposed to happen a long time ago, but it didn't. And then he just did it in June. So he's going to miss like the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season.
I mean, I feel like, and this happens in baseball a lot, where like pitchers, they'll have like a partially torn throwing arm, like one of the ligaments. And if you get surgery, the length of recovery is basically unknown. There's like a timetable, but the length of recovery is unknown. So a lot of people like, all right, we're going to try and, rehab it, see if we can't get the ligaments around it, the muscles around it stronger, try to avoid surgery. If the surgery didn't happen, I'm almost positive that's what happened here.
That's what other people are saying too.
Yeah. Some doctor or his team of doctors, whatever, were like, look, we don't know what the recovery period is going to be like. We think that you can potentially play this season with this injury if you just do PT or like specific movements to make it stronger. I think that's what TB12 did last year. So there's ways around it, but apparently they got close enough to the season. They're like, it's not working. If you don't have the surgery now, you could be down, week 6 through week 12, right? During the playoff push and whatnot. But I don't know why Sean Payton didn't know about it. I don't think it was the fact that he didn't know. Like, he said there was communication. Like, he was talking with him. And then he's like, the shit should have just happened a long time ago. I would rather him miss the first 4 weeks than the last 4 weeks.
Yeah. But, what was it? Last year when he was injured, it's reported that Drew Brees' wife came out and said that Michael Thomas came back early because he knew that like this is going to be Drew Brees' last year. So he played hurt last year. And I know that him and Sean Payton have had issues. Michael Thomas I'm talking about. So this could be his way of just saying, fuck the team, and I'm trying to get off this team.
Maybe. It seems more likely that he got information that he could play if he just rehabbed. That information didn't come, didn't turn out to be true. But like I said, I'd rather have him miss the first 4 weeks than the last 4 weeks. So even if he should have had surgery before, I'd much prefer him to have it now going into the season than potentially lose him during a playoff push or like have him go down in a big game. At least now they have a, timetable that's relatively certain for him to be back. But yeah, I guess he's not talking to Sean. Sean's not talking to him, or at least there's a break in communication there somewhere. So
yeah,
that's Michael Thomas's attempt to keep himself in the news because he has the most boring name in the NFL, and everybody forgets about him
until he gets traded.
I mean, still, that's not going to change his name.
It's the number one receiver in New Orleans treatment. Same thing that happened to Marcus Colson. Like, it's just, hey, they're there. Like, they're good. Oh shit, yeah. It's like, oh wow. Like, you ever see the numbers they put up? Like, wow, oh. And then anytime there's a list about favorite wide receiver, you got to go back after you like name the top 10. Hold on, shit, we forgot a Saints receiver. Like, that's what happened.
That's a little different with Michael Thomas, though.
I think Michael Thomas is better than Michael Colson or Joe Horn.
Joe Horn too. Yeah, but I think the fact that I really like the Saints are consistently in the playoffs and like in the Super Bowl hunt, like makes it better for him just because it's a higher profile, and the numbers that he puts up every year is ridiculous.
Yeah, I also think that there might be a part of this, and this just came to me. Is Michael Thomas trying to avoid time because he knows he's not going to be able to put up the same numbers with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston? So let's not keep any of that film out and do what I can to get the fuck out of New Orleans.
But Jameis,
that's what I said in the beginning.
Jameis got LASIK.
But look at what Jameis did with Mike Evans.
I want to play with Jameis Winston. I think he's great.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna throw you the ball. You're gonna get chances.
Yeah, no, if you're a wide receiver, you should want to play with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he's not gonna look downfield. He's just gonna pray that you're there.
Crab legs are great.
I mean, as a receiver, the only thing you really want is your QB to give you a chance. So Jameis is going to do that.
Well, Jameis will give you a chance about 50% of the time. The other 50%.
He's going to give you a chance 100% of the time is if you're going to make the catch, which they only do 50% of the time.
Yeah, you better make the catch or block the ball from getting picked off. You got a chance.
You're either a receiver or a DB on every play.
Unless he overthrows you by 10, and then the safety gets it.
Although was it him that got LASIK recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Carlos Rodgers thing. The Carlos Rodgers thing with Carlos Rodgers was a cornerback out of Auburn that Washington picked. And he was the most frustrating cornerback because he had a ton of potential and was constantly dropping interceptions that he was like perfectly in place for. And there were, I think it was Fred Smoot and everybody was like, Carlos, you can't, like, we can tell you're squinting the entire time. You can't see. Go get surgery. And he's like, nah, man, I'm fine. This fucking asshole, I think he's traded to San Francisco, gets LASIK immediately and leads the league in interceptions.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny. I mean, we'll just say it's the Washington curse. All right.
Carlos, you can't see, huh?
But I'm saying, if Jameis couldn't see, the boy gonna put up some numbers. Just get him.
I think Jameis is gonna be good.
Yeah, me too.
Jameis?
I always like Jameis.
So let's switch gears and move on to the Olympics for a little bit. There's two main topics we want to discuss here. The first one is Simone Biles, who pulled out of damn near all the rest of the competitions.
She pulled out of two more this morning. I saw.
Yep.
I think she's
out
out
of more individuals. Yeah. So she was warming up. Some didn't, like, she felt off. And she was like, hey, you guys gotta take it. I can't. And then she got blasted by certain people in the media, but then
Clay Travis and fucking Jason Whitlock and all the rest of the talking head assholes that are always doing the same bullshit.
Yeah, and people with eggs as profile pictures on Twitter.
Fucking dickheads.
So when this whole story was breaking, what were you guys thinking about? Like, what was your thought process?
My initial thought process behind that was there might not be a more dangerous sport than gymnastics. And if you are not 100% locked in,
you could die.
Like, I forget I forget the name of the there's a Olympic athlete. I forget. I think she was American. This is years ago that she was hurt. I think it was her ankle or something was hurt. And Bella Caroli, I really follow gymnastics. I don't know if you guys know who Bella Caroli is. Bella Caroli was, hey, can you go or can you not? And basically pressured her into going. She went, fucked up on the beam, and I think now she's a vegetable. Like, she could never do anything again, and she got hurt. I might get started, so I'll scrub Bella Caroli's name until I can confirm it. But this is what it is, dangerous. And when you heard the interview that she gave, she realized, like, yo, I'm not going to win shit if I'm out there. I want you guys to go medal. If I'm out there, I'm going to hurt you guys. There is a certain self-understanding that you have to have in order to know that and to do that. And I'm proud of her for it. Because there's one thing you're not going to call Simone Biles is fucking weak. Yeah. The amount of shit that she's gone through, the fact that even on top of that, you have the Olympic judges in the association basically say, because you're so athletic, we're not going to properly judge you. If that's even the mentality when you're going to the Olympics, then fuck all. Who gives a shit? Like, you're basically saying you're not going to treat me fairly when I'm here because I'm just so much better than everybody else. So what's the point? Like, what does he matter? And I don't even think she's coming at it from that angle. If I was her, I'd be coming at it from that angle.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it was what the fuck?
Like to give an example, when she was practicing and the jump that I said, like, where she was like, oh shit, something's not right. She did 1.5 twists in the air.
It's ridiculous.
So and then she landed it and she's like, yo, this is not gonna be good.
But you see in the jump, her eyes,
Yeah.
and trying to get the landing. It's if you're not locked in, you will die.
So
And then all these non-gymnasts, including us, are like trying to give her shit. And it's like, you haven't even done a flip in your life. Like one.
I've tried. First of all, I've tried. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
I am great on a balance beam. Kiss my ass, James.
Are you really?
No, he's not. He's just
No.
No fucking way.
No.
It later came out that she has what's called the twisties, which is effectively when you're in the air, you have vertigo. So you're basically dizzy as soon as you normally, like this happens with a lot with figure skaters when they're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You're supposed to pick a point on the wall so that you don't get dizzy. If you can't do that, you can't pick your spot. In gymnastics, it's your landing. If you're dizzy and you can't pick your landing, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You won't be, your body physically cannot land because you don't have your center of
And she
gravity.
still did it.
But she did it. Realized, man, if
I know.
there are more rotations in
That's
there,
what I'm saying.
I'm not going to stick a landing. And she did what I consider to be a very selfless thing in telling her team, I'm going to bring you down, even though I am the GOAT. Right now, I am a sheep because I can't make my landings. I'm going to pull out and let you guys shine because I'm not going to be able to do it.
That just shows you how good of an athlete she is and how professional and how much respect she has for the sport and her teammates.
And how aware she is of where she's at, right? Because she's a competitor. There is
She's
nothing,
an Olympian,
right?
man.
She's not there like, oh, I'm pulling out just because. Like, she's there to compete. She worked her entire life to be able to do these things. So I give her 100% credit. We still getting golds out here. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Sonny got that gold.
Yeah.
and that was so close too. Oh.
Yeah. And like her teammates worked their whole lives to get to this point, and there's no telling if they'll be back the next time. So for her to say like, hey, I understand like how great I have been, but at this point in time, I'm not going to help this team. So you guys can go out there and do what you've done, like to get to this point and see how good you guys can do. And she was there to cheer them on. So all these people are talking shit and are just doing it for, we know the reason why.
Yeah.
So, I want to just commend her for her work ethic, her warrior spirit, and her grace in this time, because like, you guys have said, I mean, she, first of all, she didn't even have to compete in this Olympics. She's already like certified as go.
Yeah, she's solidified as the GOAT.
Like, not but she went to.
You're morphing.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's solidified as the GOAT.
I would say early on in the Simone Biles discourse, another thought that I had was the fact that, like, I think that we've reached a time right now where athletes are realizing that they're prioritizing things. You don't need to put yourself at risk for this event. Like there's a certain element that you have to kind of think of about your own well-being. And I think that people need to prioritize that above looking strong and going out there and toughing it out. Like and I think that goes for everything. Like the days of Ronnie Lott basically take my finger off so I can go back in the game. If Ronnie Lott, like that, we all talk about that with such vigor and all that. Nowadays, I'd say, Ronnie, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you kind of fucking go sit down somewhere. Like there's a certain element that people need to get past that. Like, we need to stop championing people basically ruining their lives and try to get through this.
And
but
the people that are championing it haven't done shit.
I will say this as far as Simone Biles, though. At first, before the interview came out and before we knew that she had the twisties, I know enough gymnasts that that was my initial thought, was that, like, her head's not right. And if her head's not in the right place, she's not going to be able to perform, period. Because you'd have to be locked in to do this sport. The idea that I had initially, like, before it was confirmed, the thought was that she was just taking a mental break, almost like Naomi Osaka or something along those lines. And I think a lot of people were pushing back towards that. And I think those people need to fuck off to a certain degree. I will say this. There is a certain level of criticism that does exist and will always exist as long as there are journalists. And even what we do, like, we're doing a podcast, we're talking about the shit. I understand people criticizing certain aspects of things. I will say that people need to have more empathy. And I also say, as far as the athletes, the everyone that's like taking that side, it's the same thing I've said about Naomi Osaka. As long as she is doing what she needs to do to get herself right, so she can one day push through. I think there's a difference between somebody saying, "Hey, I can't do it right now," and like I'm working on myself, compared to what I think people are thinking, which is just, "Hey, fuck it, I'm throwing my hands up. I don't want to do this anymore." And I think that there's a difference there, and I think that we need to have more empathy with those people. And I think those people, those athletes, are the best of the best. They're not quitting for the sake of quitting. They're trying to work through shit. But what you need to do is not put yourself at risk while you're doing that.
So you said you like understand what certain people criticize certain aspects. Like, what are those aspects?
The aspects, as far as I think that's what I'm saying, is that like there's a misunderstanding. People are assuming that there is just a throw your hands up, I give up, I'm not dealing with this right now. Without knowing, I don't assume that that's the case. I don't go there and assume that that's the deal. I think people are assuming that. If it is the case, if any one of these athletes are basically saying, fuck it, I don't care, I'm just leaving because I don't want to deal with this, I'm never going to try to push through it, I think that does deserve criticism compared to people that work through something. Like, I go to therapy to deal with my anxiety so that I can act on the anxiety and get through it, or to find the tools necessarily to get through that. I don't say I have anxiety, I give up. And I think that a lot of people that don't have mental issues or haven't had to deal with certain challenges assume there's this level of weakness because you say, hey, it's too much for me to handle right now.
Yeah, there's a difference between right now and I'm done.
Right.
What about if you never wanted to be in the position anyway and you were forced into it?
Then I think that's a different beast.
Yeah.
And like that right there, like how I could just create an example that changed the whole like aspect of it, is why I don't think people who have never done shit in their life in that realm should say anything.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we do every week. Does this body look like it?
It's kind. We want to get to a point where we want to get to a point where we get paid to do this. So it's like, we're not.
But like what I mean by that is like the dude you see that says like, oh, she's a quitter, she should never represent this country, all that. Yeah. Like, you don't know shit about shit. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, we can still commentate without coming to our quote unquote conclusions.
It's the assumption.
Facts.
It's the where do you assume in the places in which you don't know.
Yep.
And this is why I say lead with empathy.
Yep.
Unless that person's name is TJ Watt or Cole Beasley. Fuck off.
And
all right.
And die.
Fuck off and die.
All right.
So, I feel bad about the die part. Like, I've been thinking about it as we've been going.
I know. I know.
Oh, what? What?
I'm glad you said on the podcast.
What, you're quitting now? You're quitting now?
Yeah. So,
now you need to push through, right?
You gotta push through, K-Dot.
Let's talk about the other major thing in the Olympics, which is the USA men's basketball team and their struggles. They just beat Croatia, I believe, today to make it through to that's the medal rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really care.
I don't have a trash can.
You sound like an NBA. You sound like a member of Team USA.
You sound like a men's national team.
No. See, I can't say that. I can't act like we can try to explain the reason why other teams are playing better, just like the change of the rules, the different basketball, like all the other shit. But I'm not going to sit up here and say that the players don't care. Like, that's not right.
Czech Republic.
Okay, Czech Republic. But I'm not. You can't.
You're right. You're right. But I will say this: if you do care more about winning the Olympics than, let's say, an NBA Finals or a playoff game, yeah, you might. Something's wrong with you. Like, there is an element that, like, they might not care as much as another thing. Which is fine. This is basically as far as I want to go with that.
Okay.
I will say that this in Team USA, and I've been saying this from the very beginning, bronze. And the reason I'm saying bronze is because I just think the world stage, as far as basketball, has now gotten so good at it. You see the international stars that are playing in the NBA. You look across the Olympics and see all the NBA talent that are on these different teams. Mm-hmm. That to me it's hard to hit a point. Not to mention, they still play real basketball, which is they're not calling every fucking foul
Joe
a
House
foul. The 3-point line is closest, so it ain't a fucking just throw it as far as you can to the basket, or what I say, jacking up balls to the net. If there's a certain element of the game that the NBA is kind of, oh shit, we don't do this anymore, and that's what I think that they're running up against. I just don't think it's a recipe for success. Not to mention,
they just need to KD just need to act like he's playing in PG County.
But here's the thing: on top of that, you just played a season after like no turnaround time that you're not used to.
Like,
half the damn league is hurt.
Shit, Drew Holiday just came off of the plane from winning the championship and covered people 94 feet.
We're over in Tokyo in a COVID hotspot trying to play basketball against these guys that play physically, and flopping doesn't work for us anymore. God damn it. Like, it's just...
That's how I take a break. I just flop real quick and I get 15 seconds to recover.
Where's Giannis? Yeah. We need time on those free throws. He's gonna get a breather.
My final thoughts is actually on this, so I'll save it for that.
All right, cool. No, we'll come back to it.
I have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
And this is I don't need us to spend 15 minutes on it. Just a yes or no. Will soccer, U.S. talent in soccer ever catch up to the world like the world has caught up to us in like basketball?
No.
Women
possible. Or men?
Women we're already
women are winning are great.
But it's possible. It's possible.
It's not.
It is.
No.
It is.
In a separate universe.
Anything is possible.
You don't think we could have like
I'm not saying it's anywhere close, but it's possible.
Okay.
I'm not
with how everything is going on where like different cultures are coming here and all this other shit. Like people are getting married from people overseas and having kids and all that other shit. Like look at Sergio Dest. He's like he had a choice to play between the Netherlands and the US.
Yeah, that's
like
great.
Davies had a choice to play for Canada or the US, right?
No, he only Canada.
It was Canada something.
Yeah, he had a choice.
There was a player for Canada that had a choice between Canada and the US.
I don't know if it was Davis.
Okay, it was one of them. But it's the same thing with like Mexican players and like people in the US. Like the kids have a choice.
Yeah, we just don't have the culture is not soccer here
in the United States.
But I feel it's growing
in the United States. If we didn't come up with it, we don't give a shit. If the money, everything, it is the same thing I always say about soccer. And I'm not going to spend some time on it. It's the element of America being the pinnacle of almost everything, as far as the money, the dollars and cents, the way people care. It's the same reason soccer always tries it.
Let me ask you this question, Kate.
Hang on. They always try to bring like the great soccer star over to America, thinking it's going to work next. And overall, we just don't give a shit. And majority of the time, a lot of people that do come over here that are bringing those cultures, because of how rooted soccer is in your culture, it's not an American culture thing. So then even if you do it, if you're half Spanish and your parents are from Spain and you come over here, you're rooting for Spain. You're not rooting for anything American in that. Like there is this element of like, they're still going back over there and thinking and rooting for the things that are over there and the infrastructure already exists. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. I don't think it's not in our lifetimes.
Yeah, that I would say.
Let me go back
I think it's possible toward the end of our lifetime, but go ahead.
I think that by the time I'm 70, it'll be
at the end of the day. What I said in the beginning of this topic is fact, and all you guys said the same exact thing. It is possible. Likely anytime soon, no, but possible. When you look at the merging of different cultures, the shit is changing.
Yeah.
Look at what happened this year.
More
La Liga is now on ESPN.
Yeah.
I think it's
going to be on ESPN.
It's going to be an American billionaire that decides that he can outspend a lot of what it is that FIFA's fucking doing and going and poaching talent. To me, that's like a start.
Well, you can't even
that to me is the only way it happens within our lifetime.
They're already buying European massive clubs. So
here's the thing with the national team. It's got to be homegrown, and we don't have the system in place to make sure that our players are not playing baseball, they're not playing basketball, that our best athletes, or some of them want to become soccer superstars. Until that changes, we're trash.
And
they're
then
always
how it's gonna
little
change
bit that we
is
have.
by La Liga and all the other major leagues being shown on ESPN so that the kids can see it throughout the day, and then they have another option.
We're talking about the kids who are 1 or haven't been born yet, who are going to be
and that's
immersed
20
in
years
that.
from now, and we'll be 50.
And one of those kids is probably just the coach, and it's probably their kids who will be actually good at soccer. So we'll all be dead.
And there's been your 46-minute light on ASOS.
Yeah. All right. So
remember when Keem said, "I don't want to spend 15 minutes on this,"
And then we spent 15 minutes on this.
we didn't. Now we're about to spend 15 talking about how we spent 15. All right. So let's move on to the NBA draft.
That was a good line.
Yeah. The NBA draft just happened.
Sorry.
Why are you so upset?
What, man?
He's a Wizards fan.
Oh, I mean,
I was so angry.
You're not a Kyle Kuzma fan?
Kyle Kuzma was going to be on U Street quick.
No, we saw about the draft itself, or we saw about everything that happened that night.
Well, I was going to start off with the draft, but they moved to everything else.
Does anybody? But that's the thing. Is like the draft itself. I don't think any of us are that deep on draft knowledge.
Well, the one. Go ahead and talk about the draft itself. I got to check something.
I was just basically giving a preface that I can't. I don't know that much about the guys that are coming in the draft. Like I don't. I've said time and time again on this pod, the draft is a fucking crapshoot.
I do want to put out something. So I have 2 points. Number one, the NBA selecting Terrence Clark was amazing. To see his mom, and I believe that was the sister there. That was awesome. It kind of made the rest of the draft like not seem as important.
Yeah.
Because like the young man was supposed to be selected that night and he ended up losing his life in a car accident. Second point is the fact that those top 4 to 5 players in the draft this year are all supposed to be really fucking good, which makes me, shameless plug, Prison Wars. You're going to see a shit ton of NBA basketball cards that like on that channel because I am buying as many as I can.
See, but I've heard mixed things about this draft. I've heard from some people that it's a very good draft, and I've also heard that it's an overhyped draft. Just like the last draft, there were people who were like, LaMelo Ball is going to be balling out, and I was super hesitant to be like, okay, and I was wrong. I hope this draft's good because, as we've said, the old guard is on its way out. Like LeBron is 58. Anthony Davis can barely walk half the time. Like Carmelo Anthony, who's my favorite player, is like 407. So with that old guard is on its way out, and without significant new talent coming in, we're gonna have a couple years where it's just like
Utah Jazz.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Denver Nuggets in the finals every year, and I was just like, the Lakers are gonna need to rebuild very soon. Like
they kind of did. So
before you get to that point,
man.
No. I have draft thoughts because I care about the draft. Okay, and they're cool. The Rockets did a great job. I love them picking Jalen Green and getting I can't pronounce his Sengun. Is that how you say it? The center. He can shoot. He's a talent. He's like Skinny Jokic. They call him Skinny Jokic.
Sengun?
So yeah, Sengun. We'll go with that. And so they say he's like Skinny Jokic. I thought the Rockets did a great job. I thought that the Magic got a steal with Jalen. So I think he could end up being the best player in the draft. In my opinion, I love that pick for them.
He was at 5. Right?
Yeah, at 5, and people thought he would go 4 to Toronto. But I think they made a bad pick. But I don't. know. That's just me. And so yeah. So I love what Orlando did. And who else did? Oh, Golden State. Hey, I guess we're just. Hey, fuck Steph then, huh? I guess, huh? I don't know. Fuck them. I like their picks though. They had great picks, but those guys can't help immediately.
Well, I mean, they could turn those picks into Ben Simmons, who wasn't traded that night.
Yeah, because you need somebody just needs to come up with 5 or 6 packs, like those kids packs of Chips Ahoy, right? And then you do straight swap, six packs of Chips Ahoy for Ben Simmons. You probably got yourself a deal there.
I'll give you
Look,
this shirt.
we can
This shirt for Ben Simmons right now.
we can give that shirt along with Kristaps Porzingis.
No, nobody wants either of those people.
Actually, it's reported that like they were discussing KP for Ben, and then also who else was it? And then like trading like Dame or some point or something. But
were they discussing it internally? Because have you seen what Daryl Morey said no to?
yeah, no. But like the thing that I posted, I don't think that was actually real, but still, that shit was funny.
As far as the Wizards pick in the draft actually wasn't. I thought they were going to blow it. I like Corey Kispert. I like Corey Kispert a lot.
How well will he play with Russell Westbrook next year?
With Kyle Kuzma
and Montrezl Harrell?
KCP.
And Montrezl
He's a
Harrell?
champion. He's a champion.
I mean, you go from having somebody that shows off guns in the locker room to now you got another person that wears an ankle monitor during the NBA game.
All right,
You guys are wow.
Ankle monitor is pretty baller. Does he have to relocate his probation? Probably.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully he's off of it because
I can't tell. Are y'all attacking the Wizards right now?
No. We're just doing as many segues as we can.
I think I can't imagine that all of those pieces remain on the Wizards going into next year. I think Kuzma might.
KCP's Bill's best friend, or one of his best friends apparently.
Yeah.
So he's not going
anywhere. Real happy.
KCP and Beal are friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They already traded the first round pick.
Yeah. If we're looking at the Russell, so there's 2 areas that I could take this is either from the Russell Westbrook perspective going to LA, which if I'm overall, I see those 3 guys. Apparently the word is out that they AD, Russ, and Bron met at Bron's house and basically they had a conversation. It was like, hey, we need to be less selfish and we need to figure out how it is that we're going to do this. If that is the case, if they truly can figure that out, being as long as they've been in the league, Bron is a chameleon. He can do a lot of different things. He's adapted his game as the year has gone on. On paper, I don't like it. He's got 3 guys who can stand under the basket, but even though I like that style of basketball, I just think the spacing's weird. But there's they need shooters badly. Like they need to just put an APB out for shooters like crazy. But if they can honestly like adjust themselves, all right, cool. I don't hate it. What I do love though, and it took me a while to get to this place with the Wizards. Basically the way that I'm looking at it is that we got out of John Wall's contract for Kyle Kuzma, a first-round draft pick,
Montrezl
Harrell. So would I have been okay with that? Yeah. Like the contract's gone. Like we finally have the flexibility we haven't had in years. And Keem, shut the fuck up. Like
no, like it's like no, I'm not gonna let you do this. I'm not gonna let you
Baltimore and Oakland and Golden State.
I'm not gonna let you do this. You just fucking talked about Green Bay being cold and not a fucking destination. Nobody wants to fucking go to DC. Even though I talk to Stephen, hey, I like DC, but nobody.
You know what we got in DC? Fucking the internet connection, you cocksuck.
Internet connection cold.
We got fiber optic cables under the ground.
Nothing is more frozen than your fucking internet.
Down in North Carolina, sending messages via horseback, you cockhead. Like, fuck you. Like,
the windmill's not working down there? What's going on?
Most powerful fucking city in the country, in the world.
Damn, your internet's good right now. Go ahead, keep continuing.
Do you have a telegraph with you?
It's fine. It's fine.
I
got 12.
Look, Keem, your team is the Hornets and the Hawks, right?
No.
Which team?
I am a Lakers fan and I am a Ravens fan.
would have never even knew he was a Lakers fan. This motherfucker's soft. What?
I thought
Yeah, I gotta say, I
came
didn't
out of
know
nowhere.
Steph is my favorite player, and that's all I really
Fair
care
enough.
about.
Fair enough. But I will say this. All the three teams that were just mentioned will be better than the Wizards for the foreseeable future.
Here's what I do know. Bradley Beal is more like Giannis than I thought. Y'all guys criticized me last week for this. Brad Beal, I think, is a lot more comfortable with his situation in Washington than we ever gave him credit for. Everybody's speaking for him and thinking that he wants to go away. Same way that we were speaking for Giannis and thinking that he wanted to go somewhere. Brad hasn't said shit. And I think Bradley Beal, if you wanted out of Washington, could have raised the stink 3 years ago.
He has said shit.
No, he said what everybody should say, which is, I'm always evaluating my future. That's what he said. He didn't say anything else other than that. Bradley Beal could have requested off of this team for years, and he hasn't. What did he do? Gave them the green light to go get Russ.
All right. Guess what?
What did they do this offseason? Go get his best friend.
That we are spending way too much time on the Wizards because only you care about the Wizards on this national pod. All right.
Yeah,
so
like the biggest news story in the
let's
NBA
go about PJ Washington. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, you don't know about PJ Washington?
I do, but I don't care.
Me
I
either.
feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him. You did it to yourself.
You gotta stop. Hey, you gotta know who you with, man.
She told you who she was.
Hey, and when someone
we knew who she was. She didn't tell him. Everybody knew.
Yeah. All right, fine. Fuck it. We'll leave that one for another time. All right. So the MLB trade deadline just happened. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I'll just say that Chris Bryant moved to the Bay. Cool. All right. Go ahead, Ryan. The Mets did some moves.
Well, I want to say that going from national champions in the Cubs and the Nats to complete blow up and rebuild 3 years later is wild. Like the entire Cubs team, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javi Bot just gone. That whole core. Same thing with the Nats. Trey Turner, Max Scherzer, gone. Look, I think this has been a weird season. Like the Nats are like way out of it, but to give up two of your like core players for prospects is the sign that the Nats are gonna be bad again for like the next 5 years. And the Cubs the same way. It's weird because they have all-stars on that team. They still have Juan Soto, Trey Turner, and like a top 6 rotation. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah.
The Mets, we needed a lot of throwing, and we got Javi Baez, who is, I guess, electric, but also he strikes out more than anybody else in the league, and he's not a pitcher as far as I know. So questionable decision-making there. The Mets are still the Mets. We've been at the top of our division for like the last 2.5 months. Adding Javi Baez, I don't think really does much except for give us another glove. But
Okay.
I mean, wild trade deadline though. Wild.
Yeah.
Wait. Also, the Dodgers, if they don't win the World Series,
They're still 3 games behind the Giants.
Yeah, but everybody's gonna be looking up at them in about 4 weeks.
We'll see.
Max, I'm going to miss the shit out of you. I now officially have no jerseys of any current players in Washington, as Ryan Kerrigan has went away, and so has Max Scherzer. I think that the rebuild is not as long as you think it is. There's a lot of good guys that we have in this team, and Juan Soto is the most exciting player in baseball, not named Shohei Ohtani.
No, I agree.
The dude from the Padres, though.
Tatis?
Yeah.
Juan Soto is the second most exciting player in Major League Baseball.
I would have to agree.
So,
Tatis is
Keem, like, how do you feel about the Oklahoma and Texas moving to the SEC?
There are so many possibilities because, like, fam, like, what happens to the shitty SEC teams now? Like the Vanderbilts, like fam, y'all got to contend with Oklahoma and Texas too. Like, this is a powerhouse move. And I'm assuming, I have no information, I'm assuming this is a play to potentially maybe move away from the NCAA. Like, it's
Create
already, yeah, because I mean, fam, we're talking like all you need is maybe 2 or 3 more powerhouses, you'd be fine.
Yeah,
it's time. Pay the players. Create a new league. It's exciting.
Well, I mean, you already see a bunch of the like top quarterbacks already cashing in for like millions of dollars. So
yeah. All right. So, final thoughts, guys. Who wants to go first?
I'll let you go first, James. How about that?
All right. So, as I was doing this pod today, looking at K-Dot's many angry faces and happy faces throughout the pod, it reminded me of something. I was watching the whole like Lupe fiasco versus Mickey Fax versus Royce the 5'9" like debate, and K-Dot kind of looks like Royce the 5'9".
That's your final
Certain
thoughts.
parts. Yeah, I just thought about it.
K-Dot looks almost like
Not like the
90s.
glasses and shit. Like like I looked and I was like, I've seen this video before. But Royce is great.
So Royce the 5'9", Questlove, Jazzy Faye.
All right, dude. Are we gonna talk about like
Thompson.
the Questlove versus the baby shit, or that?
No,
like,
I'm
another
not.
time?
40.
All right, cool.
Fuck that thing.
But yeah, that was my final thought.
Kean, what you got?
Wait, your final thought is that K-Dot also looks like Royce?
Yeah,
I love it.
He
here
dedicated his
for
final thought to me. I appreciate it, James.
Clip it.
love you, man.
My final thought is just that the NBA needs to change its rules to more of the international rules. I think that the game would be better. Fans would love it. It needs those a combination of 90s rules and like 2000s rules with the way the game is played now. I think it'd be beautiful. And that's just, I hope they do that.
Trying to be more global, you know. So the best way to do it.
Yep.
K-Dot?
I did not watch the NBA draft. I was watching something else instead. Something that James has told me that I should get into, and I am all in.
Oh yeah,
F1.
Formula fucking 1, baby.
Oh, yeah.
let's
Now,
go.
here's what I was doing. I watched season 3 of what is it? Drive
Drive to Survive.
to Survive. So I watched season 3, the entire thing in 2 sittings. I watched all of that instead of the NBA draft, and then I saved the last episode for when I got back home yesterday. What I also did was made sure that I did not look at the current standings since Drive to Survive is from last year, because I was using this to figure out who my team is.
All right, who is it?
Formula 1.
Wait, no, that should be no. That should be
Right.
the first episode of our Formula 1.
No, fuck that. I'm spoiling it right now.
Oh,
Because I had, but no, what I had to do was instead of, I don't want to be a front runner, right? So
Okay.
I had to look. I knew that there were some drivers that were moving around. There's some guys that I really, really like. Lewis Hamilton by default is just a guy that I'm rooting for, period.
Yeah.
Even though on the show, he's kind of an asshole, but I mean, I guess you got to kind of be a little bit of an asshole to be as successful as he is. Same thing with Schumacher or any of the
That's
other
just like when you're in that type of environment.
Yeah,
So,
but here's the thing. Formula 1 is not something that's like brand new to me. I know a lot about Formula 1
Is he a cobbler?
forever since I've watched the shit. I'm a McLaren guy. I'm I'm so much of a McLaren guy that I'm waiting for my $160 hoodie to come in. Lando, you're my dude. Love you, brother.
Lando's fucking funny.
Lando's the shit. And Daniel, I mean,
Ricardo,
the combination
yeah.
of those two guys on the same team, the laughs are there. Even though Sebastian is one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. He's just hilarious. But Bottas just looking like he's gonna murder someone one day.
Bottas is always angry.
That's the thing. When they did the episode, he's just chopping wood by himself in the fucking Norwegian like forest. It's just like, yep, that's who you are. But Formula 1 is I'm glad to be back into the racing thing. I dipped out of NASCAR a while back. I watched IndyCar for a while because Tony Stewart's my favorite driver of all time.
Tony Stewart.
And with Tony Stewart and Lewis Hamilton were even buddies. And I remember when they did the race, the seat swap like years ago, when Tony drove Lewis's car and Lewis drove. Also, Lewis Hamilton, like the Mercedes, they're amazing on the road, but nothing is as good as the McLaren car as far from a style look The
Shit. Did you see the black livery? You out your mind.
I even watched a video where Lewis said it himself. He's like the last McLaren car was so iconic. It's just that car was incredible. But Mercedes is just doing some. I'm not going to root for Mercedes like that. So McLaren, that's my team. And I was able to look at the standings after I picked the team, and Red Bull is doing the shit. Max Verstappen, like, I'm in, baby, I'm in.
All right.
Whoa.
I'll go. My final thoughts are in the Olympics, the women's team. The U.S., it's likely going to be in the final. What the fuck are you looking at me for? Are likely going to be in the final if it beat Canada. And then we have on the other side, Sweden versus Australia, which is most likely going to be Sweden that makes it through. So we're looking at a final between the U.S. and Sweden, which Sweden is the dark horse for the United States.
Wiped the floor with us, like,
2
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, they beat us 3-0.
Yeah.
It was painful to watch because I know those ladies are capable of. But Sweden is also, they also eliminated us the last Olympics. So if these two make it to the finals, not only is it going to be a great fucking game, but I am afraid that we might lose that final.
Yeah, it's not going to be Sweden. It's going to be more like sour. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be swap. Yeah, you're right.
All right, Ryan, go ahead.
Obviously, I'm here in Philadelphia. I still hate every single fucking sports team here. But the last time I checked, the Mets were still staying atop that division with the Phillies.
Yeah, that's going to change next week.
Phillies looking up.
7 times.
We got international professional soccer starting next week. And then the bonus the week after for some fucking reason. We have preseason football starting next week.
More sports.
Oh, all the sports are coming back.
I think it's
so
2
excited.
weeks, right?
It's like a week and a half, right?
For
We're
preseason,
gonna have 2 weeks somewhere, right?
Yeah.
mid-August.
So I'm excited to see Cole Beasley not playing for my Bills. I'm actually excited to watching football teams QB carousel. So we got some good shit coming up. We got some real good shit. It's probably the first time in a long time I've been excited to watch preseason football, just because there's a lot of
checks off.
A lot of people, like Jacob Eason's in, Carson Wentz is out. Who's going to be playing quarterback in Houston? Who's going to be playing quarterback in Washington? Nobody knows. Did the Jets do something right? Stay tuned.
As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Tell your mama, tell your grandma.
And if you didn't know, now you know, because he told you.
I don't tell you. Yep.